Yo, welcome back. This is Stu42 with another Minecraft episode. At the end of the last episode, we managed to get a few of these Steam things. This time, we do want to get some more of these going. As I said, we can just type Steam in and get the first bits underway. So the first thing to go for is the Macerator. I'm pretty sure this will then let us mash up some ores a bit better and get to the first dusts. We're going to need a bronze hull, some small bronze fluid pipes, a couple of pistons. As I said in the last episode, the very end, getting most of this is okay. So, you know, we've got some cobblestone, we've got some carpenter's blocks. Sure, a little bit of a pain to make. Wood screws, we get 8 of them for that. With iron screws, we're obviously going to need screwdrivers and files and bits and pieces. Yeah, cool. Nothing too strenuous there, apart from the red alloy plate. So, how do we make that? Now, the trick with this is to get your redstone ore, which you can't smelt, you can't do anything with, because it's RegTech redstone ore. You can put it in there, nothing happens. So, what we need to do is place it out in the world, and then get the hammer. And using the RegTech hammer, we can actually just smash it like that. And that will give us, once we go into our miner's backpack, give us a bunch of crushed redstone ore, which we can then do some things with. We can also occasionally, and I have been doing this a little bit, it does occasionally give us this impure piles of redstone dust. So I'm not sure from the crushed redstone. Yeah, from there we can just use the hammer in our NEI craft in the crafting grid to get the impure piles. But the impure piles we need to throw into a cauldron. So the cauldron I might as well make on camera. Oops. I just needed 14 of those, because a cauldron from memory is 7 of these with a hammer. Yep. Cauldron. Let's put the cauldron somewhere there. Sure. And then let's go up to our water tank. Grab some water. Water in the cauldron. Now, hopefully this doesn't use up the water in the cauldron. I might have to put the cauldron upstairs otherwise. Let's just put the redstone ore back. So let's have a look. So it is going to use 3. Right. But if we look in our miner's backpack, we are now getting redstone out of that. Cool. So we are going to need to take this up to be near our water source. And then we can get some of these, some of this redstone happening, alloy it up with the copper to make the proper red stuff that we need. Let's just throw that there. How many of these do we want to do? Grab that one. How many have we got? 12? Let's go for 3 is such an odd number. 18. So what do we need? Let's go for a couple more. Awesome. That should be 24, which is a nice number that will divide by 4 easily. So we can run back over here. We can grab our, I don't know, let's grab 4 copper. Now we are going to need to heat this up, the steam alloy smelter. This takes a lot to heat up. So what I might do is do this bit off camera, just because this does take such a long time to build up some steam. If we put 2 of those in there, this should get the heat up to about here. Takes a while to get the steam up. So once the steam gets to about here where my mouse is, doing 1 cycle of this, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 of those, will use up probably most of the steam, at least it does when I'm doing bronze. Hopefully this will be a little bit cheaper on Steam. I suspect not though. What are we in there? So yeah, it hasn't even filled the pipes yet. All right, well I will cut this here because this is going to take a while for this to heat up and get me some steam. And then we'll make some red ole. In fact, I will probably do a couple of things off camera. Yeah, we'll do a bunch of making the pipes off camera. A bunch of this carpenter's block. Yeah, so it's just wood frames, a bunch of sticks around a wrench to make the wood frames, and then wood frames with screws with the screwdriver to make carpenter's block, although I'll probably do the metal one because you get more of it. The iron gear is... Actually, we use the small iron gear. Yeah, plate, couple of iron rods, hammer, and some wire cutters. So wire cutters we haven't got yet, but we can make those with, yeah, again, plates, screws, couple of rods, nothing we haven't seen before. This just might take me a while because I think all my tools are about to break, which means I'm going to have to make a new set. And of course the red alloy plate is, as I said before, you just make this alloy, smash it into a plate, and away we go. So I'm going to make a few more things. Oh, I'm starting to get a few, but not really. Yeah, okay, I'm going to make a few more things and I'll be back in just a sec. Alrighty, once again back. I've made a ton of stuff. You can see the leftovers sitting there in my inventory. Just putting the final touches on the steam macerator. Excellent. Put that against there. Now, as we've learnt before, we need to put the steam output at the top. So let's just grab our wrench and there we go. Steam output at the top. And then we should be good to go to put some more steam in there and start macerating some stuff. I've got some... Oh man, I don't even have room for any of this anymore. So what the next thing is that I want to make. Forge hammer is probably the next thing. So the steam forge hammer needs another piston, another bronze hull, which is a bunch more bronze, and an anvil, which is... now the anvil might be tricky because we need blocks of iron. Now the block of iron... Compressor. Okay, so we're probably going to need to make the compressor next, I would say. So what do we need for the compressor? There we go, steam compressor. Steam compressor, not too hard. Another bronze hull, which is a bunch more bronze, some bronze fluid pipes, and another couple of pistons, which were a complete pain to make, but we should be able to get there. And then, of course, we'll need some more bronze pipes. Well, we've got two here. So let's just put those across the back there. Cut that out. Oh, ouch. Hot pipes. Got to remember, don't go near the hot pipes. Right, so I will once again be back. It looks like we've got the macerator first. We'll do the compressor next. The macerator should be able to get us... a bunch of cool things, though. What are the recipes? Yeah, 14,000 recipes. Wow. So we can really start macerating up our ores and getting some decent stuff out of it now. In fact, if we go to... I wonder if we've got something like magnetite. We have a ton of magnetite. So if we go... Oh, it's graphite. Well, I wonder if graphite's there. Smelting, sag, pulverization. So I'm not sure if I think pulverization might also be the steam macerator. Potentially. Potentially anyway. What do we got? Redstone, graphite, magnetite up there. So magnetite... Yeah, it gives us a double with the ore and 10% chance of an extra iron dust. What can we do with the crushed ore? The crushed ore we can then use the hammer to make into the impure pile, or we can just smelt it into nuggets. Thermal centrifuge is a way off, or washing plant. We could pulverize it again, I guess, into the impure, and then of course the impure, as we know, we can put it into the... Well, you can either dust wash it, or... Yeah, maybe there's a way of actually getting... It's going to be EU though, we can't do that just yet. Yeah, maybe there's a way of throwing that into the cauldron as well for magnetite dust. I don't know, we'll see how we go when we get there. For now, I'm going to make that compressor, which, as I said, is pretty crazy at this stage to make those to make those pistons. They are just absolutely ridiculous to make. I'm going to need to get some more redstone as well. All right, so I'll be back again in just a bit, and we'll make ourselves a compressor, and then from the compressor we should be able to make ourselves the forge hammer, and that should nearly round out the tools, other than a steam extractor, which we probably don't need just yet. It's going to take glass as well, which is a little bit interesting to make. And then from there, what I want to do for the rest of this episode, yeah, I'll decide while I'm making these two things. So I'll be back in just a bit with a bunch more stuff, and then we'll see where we go from there. Okay, well, I have actually made all of the bits and pieces we need for both of these things, so the forge hammer and the compressor. This here is still got heat, but we're still building up a bit of steam. Yeah, that pipe's still empty. What's happening is I've just placed the forge hammer down, and it's got an internal buffer essentially that holds a bunch of steam. So that is currently filling that buffer up first before filling up all the pipes all the way back, and then this will start filling up again the steam. So what I'm planning to do with this, now one of the things I wanted to get done, probably the last thing for this episode, will be to do the railcraft tank, which is the last multi-block quest, well at the moment, unless another one opens up at some point. But we need to get these iron tank walls, valves, tank gauges, maybe. The reason I say maybe is glass panes. You know, glass is not super easy to get, I don't think. You need a blast furnace or an alloy smelter. Alloy smelter, yeah, so I'm not sure we can actually get glass at the moment. So yeah, maybe we can't quite get this. Luckily, we did actually get a couple of bits of glass from that quest reward. So what I might do is, yeah, there we go, 16 clear glass. So we'll use that glass instead, and hopefully it'll be the right sort of glass. Man, there must be a really big internal tank in that one. In fact, so much so I'm going to need another... Gonna need some more charcoal. So at the moment in the steam age, this is sort of the cheapest way we've got to make plates. If we look at, where are we? I've got a plate here. If we look at the recipe for this, it's generally, you know, 2 ingots for 1 plate. You can get better if you've got a fluid solidifier, which we're a ways away from getting. Of course, the bending machine, again, we're a ways away. Alloy smelter we have one of, but you do need this mold for the plate. Also, it is still 2 ingots to 1 plate. The cutting machine, if you've got lubricant and a block, sure, that's 1 to 1, but again, not going to get there in a hurry. Extruder is probably one of the best bets for 1 to 1, but again, don't have the plate because you need steel for that. And also, it's electric. You don't get a steam version of this, I don't think. So Forge Hammer is the best thing. Now, even though this shows the EU version, we do have the steam version. So it's 3 to 2. So it's about as good as we're going to get for getting this tank made. So what I might do, there we go, we're starting to build up. We'll see how much steam it uses. Wow, and the answer is, I've done it again. Gotta make the thing on the top. There we go. Cool, so that is, yeah, so that's using quite a bit of steam. And just check the steam levels. Yeah, steam is empty. All right, so it's going to take me a little while to get all of this stuff together. So I might do that off camera, as I'm going to need to make, well, I'm going to need to make a bunch of things actually. Yeah, so the tank valve, what do we need for that? We're going to need some iron bars, some large, so I'm going to need a bunch more bronze. Iron bars are, yep, can do, bit painful, but can do. So we're going to need a lot of iron. I'm going to need to smelt a bunch of stuff. And then get these bits together, and then hopefully we can make that tank. And what I'm planning to use the tank for is I might move the stuff around a bit, and we'll have the tank holding the steam, which means we've got a nice big buffer for when we want to, you know, smelt a bunch of stuff or, you know, forge hammer a bunch of stuff. We'll have all that steam sitting there waiting to go. We can potentially use that new railcraft boiler that I made in the other. There's another quest that I made, the 2 little railcraft bits, but they're a bit harder to manage without a big buffer, so maybe we better use those. Anyway, I will be back here in just a bit, and we'll hopefully get all the stuff for this railcraft tank complete. So see you in a sec. So I am back and I've made a ton of stuff. We've got the 30 iron tank walls, got the 2 iron tank valves. We do have the rest of the stuff to make the, where are they? The tank gauges, which is screws, some plates and the glass panes. Now I have kind of cheated a little with the glass panes, and I did have, I'm so sure I had the screws and everything for them. Let's just check. Did I put it somewhere? Ah, there we go. Had everything all laid out already. There we go, 2 of those. Now I did cheat a bit with the glass panes just because I had that pick that it had the silk touch added to it. Oh, do I want a valve or another gauge? Gold Aubrey bush, let's grab those. Wow, no more quests either. Anyway, so as you know, I did have this pick here, which is the one that had a silk touch on it. I also managed to find myself a village, and in the village, of course, they had glass panes in the windows. So I managed to break the glass panes with my silk touch pick and grab them out. Now, if you were gonna do this normally, it's quite a bit more complicated from what I can gather. So the recipe for the glass panes is you need a saw and one of 4 different sorts of glass by the looks of it. Of course, the other 2, the other soul glass and quite clear glass, pretty hard to make at this point. Both heat glass and normal glass are just made for your chisel or normal glass. But to make normal glass is pretty crazy. It is heat glass there, so you can just chisel it. Yeah, anyway, to make this is quite crazy. You need an arc furnace, or probably the best way is either, well, you can make it by doing Tinker's glass to glass in a blast furnace, which we don't quite have yet, or the alloy smelter, which we do have, but we don't have any steel to make the mold. So the next thing we're going to have to do is make some steel. Won't be this episode though, that's probably going to be the thing for next episode. But for now, we have enough of this tank wall stuff that I'm going to be able to add myself a tank in probably over here somewhere. I wonder if I can break this without... Oh, it's a wrench, you need a wrench. Shift right click? No, just busting it with left click. Yeah, cool, busting it with left click is fine. Let's just make sure that we have everything stowed away. Sticks can go. Let's put away all the tools. Now, I can't remember if I've mentioned this already, but one of the things that you might notice is I've no longer got the sword here, and that is because there is a key that switches between battle mode and normal mode. I know this is a really random time to be bringing it up, but that is ultimately what this battle mode is, and you can scroll through, as you can see, the two lots of 3 down the bottom, one each side, one for defense and one for attack, and when you switch to that mode, you can use the scroll wheel on the mouse to switch through them all. Yeah, it's a kind of handy thing to have that all stowed away and not taking up room in your bag, but it took me a while to realize it. And the key is automatically bound to F, I believe, which conflicts with something else, so it doesn't actually work straight away. Anyway, so now put everything back, and I do actually want the wrench still. Wrench. So yeah, I may do some of this stuff. Now that's interesting. It says it's a wrench, but right click, shift right click do not work. I wonder if, yep, wooden needs the flint hatchet. Okay, so that's just the wrong, but that is good for that. And just left clicking for that. Cool. So I'm hoping what I can do is put the steam tank in here. Pretty dark in there though. So what I'm hoping is that we can put the iron tank walls in. Now we're not going to have enough to do a very big tank at all, but we do have 2 gauges, which is quite nice. So what I'm going to do is put this here that one there, that one there, that one there, and that one there. Now we're going to see how many of these we've got. Am I going to be able to go one higher? 7. So we're going to have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, it's going to be a really short tank, unfortunately. Yep. They've given us exactly enough to put that together. Awesome, there we go. Well, 576 buckets, that's still pretty good. So what I'm planning on doing now, we could have just kept this boiler here actually. So what this should be able to do is let us cook this boiler. Oh, I probably should have waited for the water to go in there a bit, but looks like there's enough going in there now. And this should accumulate a bunch of steam out the back, hopefully. And we should be able to do something with this over here. Like that. Yep, I knew that was going to hurt me. So this should hopefully give us a nice bit of steam buffer. It's going to take a while to heat back up. Oh look, no, we've got steam already. Awesome, 3,978. Now, how much steam is in the pipes? We have... Yeah, steam is actually coming through the pipe by the looks of it. It's popping in and out. So obviously breaking that did do something to the steam. It might have gotten rid of all the steam from all of the things. So it might be just trying to fill everything up now. Either way, we are getting some steam in there. And nothing is coming through there. So where is... Just want to get this last bit done and then hopefully tie up this episode there. Now, I may need a lever close to there to enable that to actually output properly. In fact, I would say that is probably very likely. Cool, so please tell me levers are nice and easy and not crazy Greg tech. Levers are a button and a stick. Fair enough. And a button is a pressure plate and a saw, and a pressure plate is a saw and a stone slab, and a stone slab is a saw and a stone. Right. Of course it is. So let's grab the saw, and we need to make stone slab, pressure plate. Let's make a bunch of buttons. Wrong one. We have a stick, and that makes a lever. Fantastic. I'm hoping this is how it used to be, where you could just do that. And it would let this output. Formed, yes. So that's filling up with steam, but we're not managing to output anything. These should be filled with 800 steam, but I'm guessing if we start one of these, it's not going to work. All right, I might, rather than fumbling around, I will have one last go away. I'll come back and we'll see what we have to do with these things to let them output. I'll be back in just a sec. Okay, so we're back with a pretty quick figure out. Don't need a lever, but you do need the thing to be on the bottom. I think it will output automatically from here, but it won't output all of the steam, so I would have had to wait for it to fill up a bit more. But what I've done is I've moved it around so there's a valve in the very center of the bottom, and that now comes out the side. We've now moved this alloy smelter here. The steam vent can be by default at the back again, and I'm going to run the pipe underneath and move all these machines over. Brick it in, it should be fine. Over here we've done the same thing. We've got the bronze fluid pipe because they need to be capable of holding the steam, which is hotter, so that goes that way, and you can see the steam coming in there It's actually coming in and going out really quickly because it's actually coming out and going into these pipes and filling up this alloy smelter again. Now that I've moved where it is, but that is pretty much us for this time, I think. Yeah, pretty big episode again. Quite a bit done. Well, I think I've got a bit done anyway, which is quite nice. Next time, probably get onto that blast furnace with a bit of luck. Still a few things to do between now and then, though. I might clean this up a bit, maybe open this up a bit more. Yeah, just do a bit of refining, make some more of this pipe, pull the machines back on the wall, and then we'll be done. Done and done. Alrighty, well, that's it from me. As always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.